Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back. And today we're going to go over part 3 of making maps. I had a question brought up to me by Damian Deckard asking about adding in props or banners or other things like that. So there's two ways of doing this. One is you make everything yourself. You model and texture and all that stuff on your own. Though the texturing you'll always have to do no matter what. But you'd have to make it yourself the other way around. So I'm going to show you the easier way to do stuff, and that is to import different models. Now, we're going to go over a couple different things. I'm going to show you how to follow the track of the road, the easiest way, anyways, that I know of how to do it. And then I'll also show you guys how to make just one real small thing, real simple. We'll go over how to make a billboard. But I want to show you guys... we'll start with following the inside of the track with the road, and the same process if you want to follow the outside. I'm just going to do the inside because it's the exact same process if you're going to follow the outside of the road. Without further ado, let's kind of get into this and get rocking and rolling. Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-hour video. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find a cone that we like. So I like to use something called Blender Kit, and I cannot stress this enough. This stuff is freaking awesome. I love it. Just about anything you can think of. There's cars, there's a pig or something, hippopotamus, all sorts of stuff, furniture, balls, flags. I mean, almost anything you can think of. Blender Kit probably has it. Now, it is free. But it's limited if you use free. I pay for it, so I have everything, and it is so worth it if you guys like to do 3D modeling. There's just so much stuff on here. So we're going to start with a cone, right? So I'm just going to type in cone, see what pops up. So I kind of like this one. This one looks really simple. So we're going to do that. And you'll see now... We'll close out of this, and we'll minimize that. The cone is all the way up here, so we're going to drag this down. Wherever it's at. Hello. There it is. So drag it down. And we'll kind of see. Keep dragging that down. Okay, there we go. Now we're finally down to the ground. Cool. So, I like it. It looks cool. It's nice and simple. Now, bear in mind, this isn't going to work. So, what we're going to have to do is, I'm just going to put this on face select just to make this easier whenever we get there. We have to go into the materials, and unfortunately, we have to delete it. So, we have to detexture for CarX because we have to use the PNGs. So we'll tab back into edit mode. It's where now we can see this whole thing. Now I already have colors, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull those images, but a quick Google search, just look up the color orange, literally the color orange, and you'll find a million different oranges you can use. So I'm gonna go ahead and select my orange color that I downloaded for this, and we'll assign it. So now everything is orange, which is cool. You can leave it here if you just want an orange cone. But I downloaded the white color too, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I am going to press Alt, and I'm going to select here in the middle. That way I have this middle ring selected. I'm going to click this little plus button under Material. We're going to go New, click this yellow dot, Image Texture, Open, and I'm going to go back into my folder with my textures. Now you want to make sure that all your textures are in a texture folder in the same folder as your map, where all your files are going to go for your map. So wherever you export your map at the end is where you want your texture folder at with these textures, along with your road texture and grass texture and all that stuff. So now we have a nice little cone. It's nice and pretty and textured. And we're going to go ahead and kind of get this started where I might want it. Placed how I might want. Something along those lines. Something like that. Totally fine with me. So I want this cone to follow the entire inside of the track. Now, obviously, this is not probably something that you would normally do, but I think it would be a pretty cool little thing to kind of show you guys. So let's get into how to make this curve for this cone to follow. So there's a couple ways to do this. I'm going to show you the way that I'm comfortable with, that I like. Just to preface this, my road does have thickness. I have a solidifier modifier on it, so there's an extra step. If you're just using a plane for a road, this will be a lot easier, but since mine has thickness, I have to kind of do a couple small extra steps. So I'm going to start off. I have my road selected. I'm going to make a copy of it. So just Control C, Control V, once I have the road selected, to make the road. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hide the original road. I'm going to hide the grass, and I'm going to hide the traffic cone. Just so I'm not distracted by anything else. I'm going to select our duplicate of the road. I'm going to press 7, just so I'm looking down on it. And I'm going to go into edit mode. Now I'm going to go into vertices, and I want to follow the inside of the road. So I'm going to select the outside. So I'm going to press Alt, and I'm going to click the outside, as well as I'm going to Shift and click these as well. And I'm going to delete vertices. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Alt click, and this time it already selected that for me, so that's cool. Delete vertices. Now remember, we had thickness, so it's going to have this. We only want one line of vertices. So I'm going to go to the top view again, alt click, and delete vertices. So now I just have one solid line of vertices. Okay, so I'm going to tab back into object mode, and I'm going to right click this, and I am going to go to convert to and curve. So now I'm just going to rename this to curve, just to make it easy. And we can now bring back our grass, our road, and our traffic cone. So now you can see it follows the inside of the road pretty good. Perfectly even. And we can leave it there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 7 again. So now Origin's back. We can go back into our traffic cone, which is right there, which is fine. And let's add our modifiers now. See what happens. Click on curve, change that, and we'll also add in a bunch more. And we'll press G, and we'll move this around. Let's try to apply location, and we'll apply rotation and scale. Let's see if this works for us. There we go. Now we're getting what we want. So now I can go back into my array, and I can change my count to fill in the rest of the space. To about there. So now you can see we have our cones on the inside. So what I was doing was I was trying to figure out why it wasn't matching the road very well. So basically I moved the cone to match the same spot of origin as the curve, and then I applied rotation and scale and location. That way it would register as being in the same spot, so it would follow that curve a little better. And I put it a little off, that way it would work for me. So I'm actually going to drop down my count a little bit, and I'm going to change my factor up just to kind of space them out, because I don't like them being that close together. So there we go. So now we have our cones put in, and it follows the inside of our road. Looks nice and pretty. So now you can leave it like this. My only problem with this is that the cones are going to be like a brick wall. If you hit them, it'll dead stop your car. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into CarX Mod Tools, and we are going to set no collision. That way you just drive through them. And then we can go into our next step, which will be to make a billboard. So the billboard, we can look and see if there's one in BlenderKit, but I will probably just show you how I would make one. I typed 2Ds, but it still pops up anyways. But yeah, there's a cool little banner here you can use. This looks fairly simple, so we'll go ahead and we'll tag this asset in here. We'll rotate this on Z, and we'll push it back a little bit. Pull it back forward, rotate on Z a little bit. And now you can see we have this little thing in here. Now, I'm going to use this just for argument's sake, but I'm not planning on, I will still make the thing for us. Let's go to billboard. Let's select just this one face. Go down into our materials, and we'll add a new one. And we'll change to image texture, and we'll just add a random image. Now I have one from a thing I did for Rocket League, because I'm obsessed with Rocket League. And we'll assign it to this face. And then we'll come in here and we will go into UV editor, and we'll scale this up a little bit. Scale this back down. And then we'll scale it on the X, or I'm sorry, the Y. Raise it up a little bit. And then we'll scale it on X to make it a little wider. That'll work. And you can see that my image is sideways, which I'm not a big fan of. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. We're going to scale the Y down to make it match. And then we'll scale the X to make it match this way. And you can see we have a cool little image of Rocket League right on the front. Now we do have to go through and we can delete this one. And for argument's sake, I'm just going to make this all wooden. Just for simplicity's sake, we'll go to image texture again, open, and I already have a wood texture that I can use, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And we will press A, and then we will shift click off that face. And we can go ahead and assign the wood texture. Oh, I clicked into the wrong one. Go back to the wood fence and click assign. So now you can see it's got like a wood grain to it. So that's what you can do if you import an asset through BlenderKit. Just make sure that you retexture everything, because it'll just come up white or pink in CarX if you don't. So now we can go into making our billboard. Now, something to mention too while I'm thinking about it. The curve, once you're done with it and you know you're not going to use it again, delete it after you apply your traffic cone modifiers. So we'll go ahead and apply these. Control Z, Control V. We'll go back to our traffic cone. I gotta apply this one first. And then apply. Okay, now we can delete our curve. For some reason, when you leave a curve in here, the game tries to register it, and it makes a really weird texture bug. So we'll just go ahead and delete that curve to get rid of it. So now we can go ahead and make a big billboard. So let's do like, we'll just go ahead and make one by scratch. So we'll do Shift A, and I'll just add in a cylinder to start. And we'll bring this up a little bit, and we'll scale it in a little bit. And then we'll just scale on Z, make it pretty tall. I'm not trying to make it huge, just big enough. And then we'll Shift A, and we'll add a cube. Bring that to the top. We'll scale it on the Z to bring it in a little bit. And then, excuse me, and then we'll bring this down to kind of cover that top. And we'll scale it on Z a little bit more. It's a little thick. So we'll scale that down. Bring that down on top again, just like that. And then I'm going to scale it on the Y-axis. And that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press Tab into edit mode and then Control R to add a loop cut. I'm going to add it long ways, and we're going to make this 2. I'm going to press enter just to make sure it saves. And you can see we have a loop cut all the way around. Select our vertices, that way we know that, yep. So I'm going to go ahead and shift select all of these. Just the 4 on top. And then I'm going to E to extrude and Z to make it go up. So now you can see we have the basic model for a billboard. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into face select. And well, before I do that, let's tab out of edit mode. And then I'm going to shift click the pillar. And I'm going to go ahead and do Control J, and that will combine them both into one object. And we're going to go into our materials, new, and we're just going to make this that wooden material again, just for simplicity's sake. You can make this as detailed or as simple as you want to, just by spending a little more time and going through and individually doing faces and, you know, making it look nicer. But for the sake of this video, I'm not that worried about it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to go to face, and I'm just going to select this one face. And I'm going to add another material, new, base color, image. And then I'm going to go ahead and select the same image as we put in that little other banner. And Garage, and I can go ahead and assign it to this one face. And now obviously I am going to have to that's not going to work because of the way we did this. So what I'm going to do is I still have this face selected right now. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this material, and I'm going to right click this, and I'm going to click separate by selection. So now this is its own object. So I can move this freely of everything else. So I'm going to tab back into edit mode. I'm going to select this face. I'm going to unwrap it because now it's by itself. It'll make it a little easier. Shader editor. This is the other way to add textures. Shift A, texture, image texture, put that right there. Click open. We're going to grab that picture again. Just go past it. Garage. And then drag yellow to yellow. get rid of specular. And we'll bring that up, and then we'll go into UV editor. And we'll scale this on X to be roughly the same size. Or do this, and GX, and that's good enough. So, see, it's a little stretched, but that's okay. You can use whichever image you want. This image probably isn't the best to use for this. Just because it's not really very good shape. There we go. Turn that the other way around, looks way better. Scale this on X down a little bit, just to get rid of that duplicating on the side. And beautiful. So now we have our nice pretty octane up here. And I'm going to shift click this, and then we're going to Control J this again. That way it's all back to being one piece together. So there you go. Now you have a billboard. Now you can just put it wherever you want. I'm just going to slide this back, put it right here. And we're going to move it over here. Now if you wanted to add something on the back side, you could do that as well. If you wanted to do something that's more of a big bold letters or something, you could either make an image in Photoshop or AI generated image or whatever you want to do. Just as simple as putting that on there. You could do text and convert it into objects and extrude it out and make it big, bold letters that actually have depth to them if you wanted. And then add color and stuff that way if you want. But I think this is pretty good the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and go into CarX Mod Tools. Looks like I don't have a spawn, so I'll go ahead and place the spawn. And we'll export these out and kind of see what we got. So we'll go ahead and open this. I already have my folders open that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, paste these into here. We'll go into CarX and we'll go ahead and open a quick race just in solo. And we'll load in our CarX map. Open up our maps, refresh, tutorial. So yeah. So now you can see we have our cones and we should be able to drive through them. Apparently not. So it looks like collision is still on for that, which is interesting because it's usually not an issue. But yeah, so we have our cones following the road. We have our little billboards in here. And yeah, like I said, you can either make your own or you can try to find some through Blender Kit. I really like using Blender Kit. It just makes your life a whole lot easier. I forget how much it is every month, but it is just well worth the cost if you're going to make multiple maps and put them out there for people to use, or even just for yourself and your buddies, whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments. I do my best to answer. If I feel like I can't answer it just by typing it out, then I'll do something like I did for this and actually just make a full-blown video for you guys. Just so I know I can explain everything right. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.